Hello and welcome to the special interview on Revsportz. I'm Snehasis Mukherjee, and today I've been joined by none other than the former England women's coach, the 2007 World Cup winning coach, Mark Robinson, sir. So thank you, sir, for joining and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And sir, obviously England again playing another home World Cup final. This time the T20 World Cup final against Australia, a big rivalry, and that too, iconic stadium like Lord's. And as I mentioned earlier, that 2017 was the last year when England women team won a World Cup, and that too in a home. And we all know how good England women have been when it comes to home World Cup wins. So how do you see this England team playing at a different level? Having won every game so far. How do you see this game, the final, and how have been your view on the team performance so far?
Well, look, I think England's going to be very excited how they've travelled so far, the form they're in. I think some key parts have sort of clicked into place at the right time. I think they're blessed suddenly to have the two all-rounders maturing, age-wise, fitness-wise, because they make such a difference having Gibson and Kemp in that team, because they're both great athletes, improve the fielding. Both can bowl and obviously can hit the ball a long way, and it gives the team a great balance.
Absolutely. And sir, as you mentioned about, Danny Gibson and Freya Kemp, there are a lot of veteran players like Danny Whitehurst. What a World Cup she is having with the bat at the top. And then it comes to, the captain, Nat Shiverbrand, played those 2 games earlier, then got injured and making a comeback. And what a knock she played in the other night, along with Heather Knight. How do you see, that experienced player doing the job for the team when it mattered most?
Well, look, you need a balance in all teams. You don't want a team that's too young. You don't want a team that's too old. They've got a lovely balance. As I say, they've got some good youngsters and some great old heads. We saw England getting themselves into a little bit of pickle in the semi-final, and it was two of the old campaigners, my old captain, Heather Knight, showing all her class and composure to calm things down. And we know Nat Sivers is arguably one of the best batters in the world, if not one of the best batter in the world. She's had her injury problems, but she comes in, she hasn't played for a while, and immediately plays the match-winning knocks. Danny Wyatt, she's been explosive at the top of the order for quite a while. And I think, as I say, I think England's got a really well-balanced team at the moment. I think they've got the best bowling attack in the competition, and it's going to be an intriguing match against Australia. Australia probably got the best batting team in the competition with all the depth, but I think their bowling's a bit vulnerable, especially their seam bowlers. I don't particularly think they're very strong in the seam bowlers, but they're an outstanding fielding team and won't give anything away in the field.
Absolutely. And sir, few words on Charlotte Edwards. If you see, after the 2025 ODI World Cup semi-final exit, and then the preparation when it comes to playing series, it's kind of less number of matches that England played. But there are so much talking going on, maybe how much England will be prepared for the home World Cup or not. But the quality of cricket that we have seen, it seems that some big preparation was going on, and Charlotte had made sure the team are properly ready for the home World Cup. What's on her? How good she is?
Well, look, when you're a head coach, you're always trying to plan your route into a competition, and you choose your best way. And look, she's made such a difference. She's given some clear direction. It obviously made this England team fitter, back to the standards that there should have been previously. She's addressed that. And the fielding has improved, partly due to the work they put on the side, and as I say, partly due to the personnel. And the better athletes, the better natural athletes you have in the team, and the easier that is. Well, she's done a great job, and there's obviously one big game to go. The only negative, it's not really a negative, I think until the semi-final, they hadn't really played a team of any quality. I think they had an easy route into the final, and that can sometimes be detriment to you because you haven't really been challenged and put under pressure. And that's why, in some ways, being 20 for 3 or whatever they were the other day was quite good for them. Because they were able to be under a bit of pressure with the bat. What they haven't been is yet perhaps under pressure with the ball. And I think at some point tomorrow against Australia, that will be a really good testament to how far they've come. But I think everybody should be really pleased with what's happened and excited about the fact it's the England v Australia. And going back to the original question, Charlotte's done a great job addressing some of the problems we've had and leading her team into a final. And you can't do any more than that.
Yes, absolutely, sir. And sir, when it comes to Australia, as you mentioned earlier, there's maybe the best possible side when it comes to the batting in this tournament. But more than the top order, obviously, Beth Mooney has scored few runs. But when it comes to the middle order, I think the all-rounders, Ellis Perry, be it Ashley Gardner, and be it Georgia Wareham, with the ball, with the bat, I think they have been brilliant for Australia. So how do you see that battle, the middle order and the England bowling unit, which you said that probably the best one in this tournament?
Yeah, it's an intriguing battle, isn't it? And what Australia have got is great depth. So if you can take some early scalps and everything, they keep coming at you. You've got someone like Sutherland, who's an outstanding bat and brilliant all-rounder in her own right, but especially in the bat, coming deep in the order, Garth and people like that. So they have such great depth, and they've got a lot of match winners. But as I say, I think England's attack is really well balanced as well. They've got an off-spinner, they've got the best spinner in the world in Sophie Eccleston, and then they've got Lindsay Smith, who's not a classic left arm spinner. She doesn't turn it, but she always attacks the pads and have good variations with her arm height. But England's fielding as well, and that's going to be crucial on the day and the pressure moments. Can we hold our catches? Can we pull off that stop? And Australia have led the way on that front for quite a while, but I think for the first time ever, this England can start to challenge them there as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so last few questions. As we are saying that, the record, England have a phenomenal record when it comes to the Women's World Cup happening at home, be it the 50 over World Cup, three-time winners, and the 2009 T20 World Cup winner as well. But sir, when it comes to playing Australia in T20 World Cup finals, that has already happened 3 times, and unfortunately on 3 occasions they lost, right? Even in the 2018, I think that was the latest one. But we always talk about handling the pressure in a final. Australia are kind of used to that. So how do you see this team? Are quite enough to to bridge that gap a little bit when it comes to compared to Australia? Are you seeing this team can handle that pressure and do the job this time, Adam?
Yeah, I was in charge of 2018 when we lost the T20 World Cup there in the West Indies. Australia have got some great match winners and an outstanding team, but I think at this point the teams are a little bit matched. I think Australia are a tiny bit in transition. Obviously, they've lost some great players with Lanning and then Healy, etc. going. Yes. Schutt's in decline. She doesn't even make the team now. So that's why I go back to their bowling is vulnerable. I think from an Australia point of view, I think they would like to maybe bowl first and chase and back themselves to chase anything. And I think that's really where the game's going to be. It's going to be England's batters v Australia's bowlers. I think that's going to be where the game. And I think, as I say, keep going back to Australia's team as a vulnerable, but home advantage is an asset. We see that all the time. If you can play well and get some momentum behind you, the crowd, the nation, and everything gives you that momentum and that lift. And look, it's been a great World Cup. I think it's been a little bit disappointing in the sense of how New Zealand have declined and now West Indies have declined, but that's just natural. But it's been exciting to watch England go on and do what they've done, and Australia as well.
Yes, absolutely. Last question, sir. I will not ask you about the prediction. I know what will be the answer. I want to ask you. You have been part of a final. You know the pressure and the excitement of playing a home World Cup final at the iconic Lords. The home crowd will be there. It will be jam-packed, no doubt about that. What will be your message to the team? A big opportunity for all of them to being able to play a home World Cup and an opportunity to win another World Cup for the team.
I can only tell you what I did, back in that run into the final. So we prepared for that final a long way out. We talked about from 2 years out about playing at Lords in the final, singing a song in the dressing room. We talked about it a long way out. We took the team to Lords twice in the months leading up to it, so they were used to the surroundings and what it was going to mean and everything. Our sports psychologists, our chat, we talked to the players about what they were going to do on the day, even to how they were going to walk out to bat. They're going to look at the crowd, acknowledge them, and they're going to keep their head down. We prepared quite diligent to try and be ready for the occasion a long way out. And then actually on the match day, it's just trying to keep everybody calm. There's going to be lots of nerves, lots of excitement. I think what every team would want is a good start. You might not win the game in the first 3 or 4 overs, but you want a good start. What you don't want is a disastrous start where you suddenly, 3 for 2, or the first 2 overs goes for 25, and a bit of panic and a bit of nervousness creeps in. I think both teams would want a good, solid, and if even better, maybe a spectacular start.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in again. And it's so good to to have a chat with you ahead of the final. And hopefully, we just can hope a big and a crucial game is going to happen at Lords, and a good quality of game we can witness. And may the best team win.
Yeah. Let's have a let's have a game that goes to the last over with 2 balls to go and an
Yes,
exciting
yes,
finish. That's all
yes.
what we
Bring it
want, isn't
on.
it? Yeah,
Yes,
brilliant. All right,
absolutely,
thank you for
absolutely.
having me
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, bye.